Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Sunday services at Center for Spiritual Living, Denver. We are a loving and prospering community in the heart of Denver.
A few of the Declaration of
Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Sunday services at Center for Spiritual Living, Denver. We are a loving and prospering community in the heart of Denver and online. We now conduct hybrid services at the historic Grant Avenue Community Center and Sacred Place, located at 216 South Grant Street, Denver, Colorado. All are welcomed here. A place, space, and face of love. We are a spiritual community practicing universal principles that enrich our lives. We are grateful that you have blessed us with your presence. While online, we'd love to know you're watching with us. Feel free to leave a comment and let everyone appreciate you. With everything going on, life can feel overwhelming. CSL Denver wants you to know we are here for you. Please know that our practitioners are available for personal prayer work. Our licensed spiritual practitioners' names and phone numbers are available on our website at csldenver.org. Or if you have a prayer request, feel free to email it to info@csldenver.org. For your convenience, you'll find clickable links in the description of this broadcast. Rev Elzia, along with all our guest speakers, practitioners, service coordinators, and musical inspirations, want you to know how truly grateful we are that you are with us today. Thank you for your continued support and participation in our services, workshops, and events, as well as providing financial contributions to our center. If you're interested in upcoming events and information, we send out weekly newsletters. Sign up by visiting www.csldenver.org. We deliver services in a hybrid format where we meet in person at 216 South Grant Street. We will also continue to live stream all services on Facebook and YouTube every Sunday. Find us on our respective channels as well as on New Thought Media Network. Again, thank you for your precious attention. Now prepare for engaging enlightenment.
There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden where God's grace blooms. There is a garden where everything grows, a beautiful garden where love is sown. And in this place of light and love, you can have anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. And in this place of light and love, you can't have anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. Such a beautiful garden. That garden is you.
Good morning, everyone. This beautiful fall morning. If you're comfortable, just close your eyes and we do our invocation, or just get in a good space in your heart. And we move into that space where we share that heartbeat of love, that heartbeat of who we are as human beings on this planet, spiritual beings, yet having a human experience. And we know as we move into our service this morning that all is blessed, we are all guided, we are open at the top, and we just recognize the beauty of love as it is expressed in nature, with the crickets now serenading us and the locusts serenading us. And yesterday I was walking across the parking lot on a sunny day, yet being kissed by the raindrops. I don't know where they came from. We just recognize that beautiful, beautiful caressing and blanketing of spirit. And we know as we grow as a community that we are a light for the community, and that our message this morning and the music, all is unfolding exactly as it should. And we just say, thank you, Spirit, thank you, thank you. Thank you for all that is and all that we become. And so it is. Okay, our reading this morning is from the Book of Awakening by Nepo. It's one of my favorite books. I've read from this book so many times. And the reading is called Love Like Water. Only love with no thought of return can soften the point of suffering. Water in its clear softness fills whatever hole it finds. It is not skeptical or distrusting. It does not say this gully is too deep or that field is too open. Like water, the miracle of love is that it covers whatever it touches, making the touched thing grow while leaving no trace of its touch. True, the faces of shores and the arms of cliffs are worn to bone, but this is beyond the water's doing. This is the progress of life, of which water is but an element. Most things break instead of transform because they resist. The quiet miracle of love is that without our interference, it, like water, accepts whatever is tossed or dropped or placed into it, embracing it completely. Of course, we are human and are easily hurt if not loved back or if loved poorly, but we waste so much of life's energy by deliberating who and what shall be worthy of our love, when in the deepest elemental sense, the choices are not in our province any more than rain can choose what it should fall upon. Certainly, we need to make decisions. Who will I spend time with? Who will I learn from? Who will I live with? Who will I marry? But beneath all that, the element of love doesn't stop being elemental. It does not stop covering everything before it. And over a lifetime, the pain of withholding this great and quiet force is more damaging than the pain of being rejected or loved poorly. For love, like water, can be dammed, stopped up, but toward what end? In truth, the more we let love flow through, the more we have to love. This is the inner glow that sages and saints of all ages seem to share, the wash of their love over everything before them, not just people, but birds and rocks and flowers and air. Beneath the many choices we have to make, love, like water, flows back into the world through us. It is the one great secret available to all. Yet somewhere the misperception has been enshrined that to withhold love will stop hurt. In truth, it is the other way around. As water soaks scars, love soothes our wounds. If open to, love will accept the angrily thrown stone, and our small tears will lose some of their burn in the great ocean of tears, and the arrow released to the bottom of the river will lose its point. And Ernest Holmes, our founder, says about love, love is the lodestone of life, the great and supreme reality, the highest gift of heaven, the greatest gift on earth, the treasure of all of our search. While hate kills, love renews and invigorates. As love is the greatest healing power, no one feels whole without it. Love need not be confined to only a few, but can be extended to many without losing the love of a few. In fact, when love becomes more complete, it will take in a larger and larger territory, and in doing so, experience a greater degree of livingness. And so it is. And we next have music by Jesse Powers with a song called The Warrior.
This song is about being a warrior of love. Standing in the love that is the ground of our being. Something's mistaken me, it's taking me for a fool. Constantly accusing me of being fake, like I'm some criminal, but it's subliminal. I can't remember though how I got in the flow of negativity that's keeping me from being free. But I know that it's on me, I'm the beauty and the beast of my thoughts that are locking my heart's the key. Society almost succeeded in bleeding me out, but I see the reality of the light and I'm ready for the fight now. I'm made of light and my weapon is the truth. Demons inside, don't bother hiding. Now I'm after you. Found the truth in this music, spitting rhymes so smooth. It forged the sword for this credible warrior. I am the warrior. I am the beast. I never turn and run when darkness comes for me. Hello, the demons may try to break me with their straight-faced lies. I am the warrior and I will always rise. Hey, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah, ooh, yeah. Wherever you run is where I run, and I'm not gonna stop until the love has won. Wherever you run is where I run, and I'm not gonna stop until the love has won. Wherever you run is where I run, and I'm not gonna stop until the love is won. Wherever you run is where I run, and I'm not gonna stop until the love is won. I am the warrior, I am the beast. I never turn and run when darkness comes for me. Hello, the demons may try to bring me with their straight-faced lies. I am the warrior and I will always rise. Hey, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to CSL Denver, a place, a space, and a face of love, a spiritual community utilizing universal principles and applying ancient wisdom to embody the intelligence of the design, to empower our lives and the lives of others. I want to first say it is so good to be home. I've been, yeah, I tell you, I've been on the road probably for the last 6 weeks, out of the country, 4 or 5 states. It took its toll on me. Good thing there's the thing called love around, because it took care of me. And so I'm glad to be here. So as we begin this morning, let us just close our eyes as I invoke the spirit of the divine so that we are centered in a place called love. So divine spirit, the source of all there is. As we open our hearts and minds to the realization and remembrance that God is love, and that this is the foundation of who we are. May these words send a vibration through our very being that allows us to hold the frequency of compassion and love, regardless of circumstances. Let us be grounded in a love that is soft yet strong, yielding yet unshakable. And so we claim that this space is holy, that this hour is transformational, and that this love is a nourishment for our very soul. And so it is. Amen. And so it is. And so today we wrap up the month's theme of the power of love. Now, I had this idea of singing. There's a lot of songs about the power of love, and I was going to sing one. And I practiced, and then I said, no, I better not do that. I better not sing that song because the tune, my frequency was a little bit off. It was a little bit off. But the thing that came through loud and clear was this idea of being grounded in love. Grounded in love. Now, when we think about being grounded, there are many different metaphors or reference points for what it means to be grounded, right? The most natural one is to be rooted. We substitute these words, and we're being rooted in a space that keeps us firm. And I thought about that. And I said to myself, well, am I grounded? Before I start talking to somebody about being grounded in love, let me do a self-check to make sure that I'm grounded in love. And I'm sad to say there was a little spot over there that wasn't grounded in love. It failed to realize that to be grounded in love means to be a conduit, to be a vessel, to be a hand reaching across the divide of the power that creates worlds. That creates worlds. Because I had a conversation, I was at the retreat, and I asked a question, and I'm going to ask it again. Have you ever pondered or thought about the idea that at one point, each and every one of us came out of this molten rock and gas and stuff that's just spewing around in the air? That's what they say happened at the beginning. I don't care which story you want to look at. At the beginning, there was nothing, and then there was this thing that happened that created all of this. And to think that we came from stardust, as they say, to individuals that are sitting here now talking and listening and laughing, love had to be somewhere in there. Or else you would still be rocking gas and floating around and not being able to talk or laugh. And although I love rocks and I love gas because it helps me cook the food, I'm quite sure that's not what I want to be in my essence. But it's that love that has that transformative power that takes things that seem out of sorts, if you will, or not grounded, if you will, and transform it. So now, the first thing that we have to look at, I believe, when we look at this idea of love, is that love has been sorely and poorly represented in popular culture. So we need to fix that, I believe, before we can understand what it means to be grounded in love. Because being in love is not that slow motion picture where you see the man and the woman or the two partners running in slow motion, just, oh, I'm coming at you. That's not love. That's a commercial. That's a TV movie. It's love is an energetic openness. It's beyond a mood and it's beyond a feeling. Although those are things that can be byproducts of love, that is not love itself. I've said it several times, and I think this is an appropriate point to say it now. My father used to always tell me, he said, love is not something you fall in, it's something you stand in. Which means love might get a little rocky. Love might not be that slow motion run and smile and hug on the beach. It could be that. But oftentimes, let's just be honest, that is the exception. That is not the rule. That is not the rule. And so when we begin to understand that, we can create, as we know, with our thoughts, words, and deeds, we can create another world. We can create another paradigm for ourselves. Jesus said this, the master teacher said, love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your might and all your strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. And this is the greatest of love. This is the greatest of love. So now, when we look at that, there is no place where love, i.e. God, is not. It's in God itself. It's in me. It's in the neighbor. Although, boy, the neighbor, I tell you, my neighbor right now, I love my neighbor. Well, it's a new neighbor, right? The old neighbor moves, the new neighbor's moving in, and they're doing some construction, and it looks like it never stops, that construction. But I love it, even in my angst, because it shows this idea of what it means to transform through love. What it means to hold fast to the idea that there is nothing in the universe that's standing still. Everything's moving. Even you sitting in that seat thinking you sitting very still, the molecules of your body are vibrating. And that's what love does. It's a vibration. It's an energy. It's a flow that moves through all things, even though you can't see it. It's a transformative power that once we understand it, once we grab a hold of it, we can say, Hosanna, Hosanna. Now, Dr. King said this, and I think it really capsulized this idea. Is that the first one? That says, power without love is reckless and abusive. And love without power is sentimental and anemic. Now just think about that for a minute. Power without love is reckless and abusive. And love without power is sentimental and anemic. And I think in a lot of ways, that's where we find ourselves today when we look around the world. There's a lot of power people are wielding and talking of and speaking of, but I don't know how much love is in that power. So it comes across abusive, not sympathetic, not compassionate. And I said I wasn't going to sing, but I told a story. Because there's that song it just hopped in my mind that says, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. We don't need another mountain or hill or river to cross. We need love. We need love, because that is the healing power and force of the world. Think about it. Think about when you were small, you found yourself in some vicarious situation, whether you, like me, climbed up on the roof and was scared to jump, and then now I got to call my dad to come get me down. He was madder than a firecracker, but he helped me get down, and he was loving. And then, as it just said, he had a little strength to go with that love. Said, now you go in the house and don't come back out. That's what you do. Because there's this give and play. There's this give and take of life, of love itself, of God itself, of us, that we must remember to be grounded in. To be grounded in that love. One of the ways I think, we talked earlier about a little bit about the rootedness of a tree and that grounding, and I'm going to do a little foreplay back with that. But I think one of the more essential ways for me now in understanding this grounding of love is looking at electricity. Now, I don't know, we might not have any electricians in here, but I'm sure one or two of us have tried to replace the light socket. Light ain't working or the plug not working. You go to Home Depot, you buy a new one, and you say, all right, I'm going to fix it. But you forget to get grounded. Yeah, there's that thing called grounding again. And when you forget to get grounded, you try to screw the socket out and you get that little shock. But when you're grounded, the energy just flows. There's no blockage, and when there's a blockage or there's no complete system, you get a shock. And that's what's happening right now. We're not grounded, and we're getting a shock in every aspect of who and what we are right now. And so it begs the question, what does it take? When are we? Why don't we get grounded? I don't like to get shocked. Now, some of y'all, there's some people who like to play on the edge. I ain't that person with that. I don't want to play on the edge with electricity because I know what it can do. And it's the same with love. I don't want to play around with love, because if it's the foundation of who we are, if I start getting out of kilter with love, as the story goes, guess who else I'm getting out of kilter with? Me. Myself. Which means my attitude's going to be bad. My relationship's going to be bad. And more importantly, my physical presence is going to be bad. It's going to take an effect on my body. Just think about the last time you got mad at someone you said you loved, and think about what happened to your body. You probably started sweating, or your heartbeat went up, or you start fiddling around because the energy was just ungrounded. It was just moving through your body and you didn't quite know what to do with it. But once you got centered, and once you found the place for forgiveness or to just let it go, all of that stuff subsided. And you were able to find a consistent flow into what life really is. Now, Dr. Holmes said, there's love and there's law. There's love and law. So that means that for us to be grounded, we have to follow this. It says, the greatest love of the universe must be one with the great law of its own being. And we approach love through the law. This then is the teaching. Love and law. As the love of God is perfect, so the law of God is also perfect. We must understand both. So just like that electricity, we understand that we love to have the lights come on and the TV come on. We love that. But there's a law that says if you don't pay the bill, if you start fiddling around with the socket, and you get out of balance and you don't understand both of those, there's a consequence. There's a consequence. And that's what we're looking at right now. We're trying to prevent the consequences. And quite frankly, we're looking at the consequences of not understanding that there's love and law, that they go hand in hand. There's an ebb and flow to life, and that we have to be grounded in it, meaning we got to practice it. We got to talk about it. We got to teach it. We got to fiddle around with it, because remember, we're religious scientists. We don't just take things happenstance. We take things as a scientist. We look at them, we examine, we explore, so that when I begin to talk about a thing, I know what I'm talking about. Because you feel it. It's not some shaky thing. It's grounded. And that's what we need today. We need to be grounded in love. And the one thing about the law is impersonal. The law does not care which one of us goes over there and cut the switch on. The light will cut on if any one of us turn it on. Just like gravity. Now, even if you don't know gravity works, none of us are climbing on this building and jumping off saying, I don't see it and I don't believe it, and so I'm jumping. The same premise with love. It's invisible. Nobody's never seen love. You've only seen the reactions or the responses or the outflow of love. Think about that. So we have to begin to respect love just as much as we respect gravity. Two unseen things that are very pivotal in our lives. Very pivotal in our lives. The other thing about this law is that it doesn't decide if something's good or bad. It just carries itself out. So if you stick if you stick the screwdriver in the socket, it's not good or bad. It just says, well, my law says if you put something in here and you're not grounded, I have to send some shock. I may not even want to, but I have to do it because that's the law. If you jump off this building, the universe may say, boy, that's probably not a good idea. But it says, I have to follow the law because that's what creates this universe. So which laws of the universe are we not following? I know I got a couple. I ain't ashamed to tell the truth and shame the devil. There's some that are just, we are evolutionary, as Teresa said, becoming. Every day we are becoming something different, something more, not out of character of ourselves, but more in tune with ourselves because we're learning more, we're seeing more, we're absorbing more, we're being scientists and we're relating more. That's what it means to be grounded in love. It's to have this interchange with the whole universe that keeps us centered. At that point, we become spiritual circuits or spiritual transmitters. So not only can I receive the signal, I can transmit the signal back out. We don't just want to be receivers. We want to be transmitters as well. So I receive the love, I give the love, and then we get the cycle working. And with that, we can work through all things. There's a story some of you may have heard about the two trees sitting on the hill in a lightning storm. Lightning comes and strikes both trees. There's a big tree and there's a small tree. No reference to the size, it's just how they grew. But with the tall tree, it had some presence of pride, of arrogance, I'll say. And when the lightning hit it, it wasn't in a good grounded place. So it got burnt and scarred, and it was lucky that it survived. But that smaller tree that was more flexible, that was a little more humble, it sent its roots deep into the ground, and it just so happened that it was surrounded by a lodestone of iron. And so when that lightning hit it, it was able to be diffused and not take a direct hit. It was grounded. It was grounded. And so just like those trees, when the storms come in our lives, and they will come, don't think, don't think they aren't coming. As the story goes, you either just left the problem, you in a problem, or you headed towards a problem. But trust me, there are problems. And what helps us to get through that is this being grounded in love. We understand the process. And so when I look at this next quote by Dr. King, this is what love does. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. It's the only thing that's able to transform all these problems or whatever it is love. That's what does the transforming. It ain't you. It ain't me. It's love. So how do we begin to find ourselves grounded in this, rooted in this, so that we can begin to move forward with confidence? Think about the first time you rode a bike. You weren't very confident because you saw your friend fall down, skin their knee, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. But the more you practice, you got more confident. You got more steady. Pretty soon, you even got brave. You started riding the bike with no hands. I know y'all did it. You ride because the confidence was there. That's what happens when we step into love. And so the first thing that we want to know and just embody is to understand that love is our stable foundation. Like we've heard all the stories about building your house on solid ground or on sand and all of that. Well, I want mine built on solid foundation of love that forgives and cherishes and sometimes strong and sometimes comforting as a foundation. I was in Chicago recently, and they were talking about, I forget the name of the building. We went on this tour of all the architecture in Chicago, and there is a building, and I think it's the Willis Tower, maybe, that it sways. It's Sears. Always be Sears. I know, right? And so, yeah, see, somebody corrected me. It's Sears Tower, ain't no Willis Tower. But that tower, it sways because of the winds and everything, but it sits on a solid foundation. So even though it's moving, and the guy was telling us that if you go up there, you can take a glass of water and set it down. If you sit there long enough, you can see the water switching sides. So it's not an illusion. It's not something made up. But because it sits on a solid foundation, it's able to withstand that and still be centered to do what it needs to do. So when we understand that love is this stable foundation, we begin to look at life differently if we can get grounded in it. Just like the electrical system. If that system isn't grounded, there's no current coming out. It's just going to get stuck, and that's going to cause problems. So we have to remember to be grounded in love and understand that that is the foundation of who we are. And that is not just a feeling, but that it is a force. It is a stabilizing energy that harmonizes and aligns us with all there is. The second thing is we have to understand that love is resilient. Just like that Sears Tower, for all the Chicagoans online or in the room, the resilience of that building, based on that solid foundation, is what causes it to stand. It's able to take the hits. It's able to take the unsteadiness that comes along sometimes. And we have to remember, just like those trees, if you send the roots deep into the ground, deep into love, that you're able to bob and weave, as they say. And we need, without a doubt, right now, some bobbing and some weaving. And we might even need a little ducking. As we go through this transformative time that we're in, so that we can be the ones to bring love back at the center of all that we do. And the last thing, and let me go back. Dwight Moody says this about this foundational thing. I forgot about Dwight. Dwight says, faith makes all things possible. Love makes all things easy. Just think about that. Faith, that thing unseen, kind of like gravity, kind of like electricity. If we can get that, we can make everything. We can make anything with ease. With ease. And so when we learn to be resilient, we can withstand all. And Robert Jordan says this about resilience. The oak fought the wind and was broken. The willow bent when it must and survive. Are we doing that today? Are we getting mad at our neighbors? Are we getting mad at somebody on the television and we're standing stern on some idea and not being willing to flow? It's a dangerous place to be in, dangerous place to be in. But once we can get those two things, we can step clearly into this idea that love is a connecting thing. Love is this many splendor thing that allows us to tap in many different ways and be expressed in many different ways, just like the rainbow. So when we can begin to understand that there's a divine order, a divine sacred geometry that fits together, that allows us to move with ease and grace, even in the midst of storm, then we are able to be boldly and wholly grounded in love, without a doubt. Rumi says this, and I close. Rumi says, step outside or step out of the circle of time and into the circle of love. Because love is timeless. Love goes beyond space. And when we can get that kind of a connection and we're resilient and we're flexible and we're standing on solid ground, there's nothing and no place that we can find ourselves where God is not. And so this is a special thing. And so as we go forth this week, may we walk as grounded vessels of love. May we become lights of this love. And may this love be the very foundation of who and what we are. Let us pray. Take a deep breath. And we do that breath to be grounded, to be centered in this thing called life. Because we know that there's a power, there's a presence, there's an energy, there's an intelligence that is in, through, and around all things, that goes by many names. But it is not the name that defines it. It is the action, it is the movement, it is the energy that makes it so. And today we declare that energy to be love. And so we stand in this place now, this this holy place, this sacred place called now, to embody the love of life, the love of Christ, the love of Buddha, the love of Muhammad, the love of all the great teachers that have exemplified what it means to be connected and grounded in God. And so we anchor in that idea right now, allowing it to flow through us easily and effortlessly. And it is in that connection that I declare right here for each and every one of us here, for those who are online and those who may listen to this later, that we are powered and fortified by this love. That we are standing in love, not falling in love, that we are standing in love with principles and practice and actions and reconciliations and all those things that keeps the energy of life in flow. And so as we allow that to be, we just give thanks. We give thanks for this idea, for this opportunity to grow, for this opportunity to learn, and for most of all, this opportunity for us to become a bigger, a better, a more empowered light of love ourselves. And so in that, I just released this into a law that is already working, that is always working, waiting for us to engage it, so that these things I say and much more will be manifest in our lives and the lives of others. And so it is, amen. And so it is, amen. And so, as always, there's that call to action, right? None of this means anything if we ain't doing no work. It's just me sitting up here talking with no work being done. And so this week, design a daily ritual that anchors you in love, whether through walking barefooted or some breath work or some sacred art or coloring. You know, now they got these adult coloring books. I used to love to color. I get those now and I get centered. But whatever it is, find your grounding tool so that you can ground down in love. Don't take these lightly now. You'd be surprised at the transformative effect they have on us. And the second thing is identify 3 relationships. Now, you're saying to yourself, why 3? Well, because 1 ain't enough. That's why. That's why we say 3. 1 ain't enough. Find 3 relationships where you can intentionally transmit love through listening, affirmations, or just presence. Just presence. You know, sometimes I'm so mad at them, I can't show them love. I just have to think about being in love with them. So find that relationship and do that, because this is what we're here to do, be vessels of love. And so to anchor this in our lives this week, we have this affirmation. I am rooted in love, the sacred current that steadies my soul, transmitting harmony, connection, and clarity into every space I enter. And so it is. And so it is now that time for sacred giving. We love the time, the talent, and energy that everyone brings to the center as we continue to grow, as we continue to be a community of love that allows us to be enforced in the world. And we can't do that without you and without your blessings and your givings. And so there are many different ways to give. You can obviously give here in the sanctuary, or you can go online and hit the donate button, or you can send a check to the P.O. box. But however you give, please give. As we continue to expand and have classes and all the things that we do, we need your support. So if it feels comfortable to anchor this idea into your heart and to your lives, we place our hand over our heart and say, this perfect gift is spirit informed, circulating and blessing all that it touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive, and so it is, amen. And so it is, amen. And so now, Teresa will come up and give us some announcements, and we will leave and let you get on today. Thank you.
Okay, so we have Science of Mind magazines over here. The new October issue is here, and they're available for sale for $10. It's a double issue. Get them while they're hot, or wait a month and you might get it free. The older ones are over there for free, and you can take one. On next Sunday, we have a meditation and coffee social after the service. And it is our mindfulness moment meditation, where we will focus on quieting the mind and being fully present in the now without judgment. And we will follow it up with discussion and sharing. Curiosity Corner has been a great success since we started it. We have some new items today and more next week, and we'll be donating some of the items that haven't been sold if they've been sitting back there for a while. And we have gently used and new books, oracle and tarot cards, CDs and DVDs, and all kinds of treasures. We are blessed to have New Thought Media and Diego as our Sunday service producer. He's the one that coordinates everything online. And we invite you to go to www.ntmedia.org and check out what they have. They have over 40 hours of weekly broadcasting programs. And we have printed schedules over on the fellowship table that show you what those programs are and when they're on. We are so blessed, truly blessed, by everyone who has chosen to support CSL Denver by showing up on Sundays or watching our services online. We know that as we move through the rest of this year, the divine beloved is guiding and loving each and every one of us. Thank you for joining us. Now let's close out with Karen Drucker singing I'm So Grateful.
Hey, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. Hey, oh yeah, grateful. I just say I am so grateful every day for all I have. Every day, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all I have. Every day I say it. Grateful. How I'm grateful. Every day. Oh yeah. I am so grateful. Oh yeah. So grateful. 'Cause I accept and I receive. I am so grateful. Oh yes, I am. I am so grateful. Hey, grateful. I just count my blessings. Grateful. I just count my blessings.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.